Virginia is Representative Subramanyam, a Democrat from Virginia. He represents a large swath of Northern Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C., with a lot of federal employees. Congressman, how has day one of this shutdown, has it impacted your district yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people are upset. They're scared. They're really concerned. I've heard from federal workers, and don't forget contractors as well. People who really provide important services to our government and to the American people, and they will go completely without pay for as long as there's a shutdown. And federal workers will go furloughed. And so this is difficult. People have mortgages, and Virginia is already a high cost of living state. And so, we're rolling out legislation to try to protect and help federal workers and contractors through this time, but it's very difficult. And I think people are frustrated and upset.
So why not pass a clean 7-week CR and allow negotiations on further appropriations and potentially on the health care issues that the Democrats have raised continue?
Well, look, I would love to pass a totally clean CR, but that's not what this is. I mean, this is a continuation of the policies this administration has been putting forward. What you're funding in here is not only cuts to health care and people's access to care, but you're also continuing the firings of the federal workforce, the Trump administration's takeover of the federal government agencies that he would then weaponize against political opponents. And so there's a lot in the CR that isn't so clean. And the only clean CR we've had in recent years is the one back in December. That was one where Democrats and Republicans came together and agreed. Even President Trump agreed to that. But what we have now is a bill that's going to continue these firings of the federal workforce and these cuts and to health care and other critical benefits that the American people rely on.
Congressman Subramanyam, Eric Wasson of Bloomberg is here with me. He has a question for you.
Hi, Congressman. Thanks so much for talking with us. My question is, how do we get out of this shutdown? I mean, do you guys need your full counter proposal in order to agree to reopen the government, or is there somewhere where you see a deal sort of coming together? And what's the general sense of the atmosphere for a deal? Is there so much partisanship right now between your two parties that you can even come to a deal?
There's a lot of partisanship, and this is the most polarized political environment we've had in a long time. And so that's something I've tried to address, and I've been someone who's worked across the aisle really effectively and tried to be bipartisan. The problem is, I showed up, the last couple of days. I'm local, but I can be in D.C. anytime and will be in D.C. as much as I can because I'm ready to negotiate a deal. Even J.D. Vance said in a press conference, today that he'll meet with any Democrat anytime, and so I just told him I'm ready. I'm ready to meet with you. So we haven't really had a negotiation or a conversation, and Republicans have had many months to work with us, but even many Democrats like Chuck Schumer, who voted for the CR last time, have started to understand that Republicans are not to be trusted when it comes to saying, "Oh yeah, we'll do this later on." So let's pass this now, and we'll do this later on. We can't trust Republicans with that anymore. They've lost our trust. They've lost the trust of the American people. And so what we want is for them to come to the table and, work with us on these life or death issues like access to health care or these critical issues to people in my district, like the firings of the federal workforce. To be clear, I mean, these are really popular things. I mean, the public really wants access to care. They don't want to double their premiums in January. They want to make sure in my region that they're not getting fired for no reason or being riffed or, having their pay cut in any way. So I think these are popular issues. It's a very easy off-ramp. I almost feel like we're doing Republicans a favor by having them do this.
Katie Edmondson is with the New York Times. She's also here, Congressman.
Hi, Congressman. Thanks for being here. My question for you is, we've heard from the White House and in particular from the budget director, Russ Vought, that they want to, in fact, use this shutdown to accelerate some of the policies you just talked about objecting to, in particular, firing federal employees, accelerating that campaign. Given that, how do you make the case to your constituents, particularly those who are federal workers, that this shutdown fight that Democrats are engaged in is worth continuing for, particularly for an indeterminate amount of time?
Well, what Russ Vought said is illegal. You can't be firing people during a shutdown. And look at the past 9 months, they've been firing people anyway. They've been shutting down the government anyway. They're just shutting down all the places and agencies and offices that they don't like and putting in Trump loyalists to replace them and weaponizing agencies like the FBI and the DOJ. And I talk to the federal workers who are still there all the time. I mean, it's not a great place to work right now. Many of them left the private sector and took a lower paying job in the government because they believed in their mission. And they have DOJ staffers still walking up and down the hallways trying to, find reasons to fire them, essentially. And so that's where we are right now. And I think many of them are really upset. And so, some of them have told me, shut it down until they change the way they're doing things. I've heard that many times. But I don't want a shutdown. I want to figure out a way where we can get the government back on track. And I'd like to pass budgets and stop this whole CR process. But what Russ Vought's saying is illegal. And, frankly, they're doing it anyway. And so, my response to that is you're going to keep firing people that are essential to the functioning of our government, to the American people. And a lot of times they've actually hired those people back because they're so essential.
Congressman Subramanyam, you've asked the Republicans to compromise. What's your compromise?
I want to come to the table. I've said it very clearly. We have a healthcare crisis looming right now. It's already here in a lot of cases. We have rural health clinics that are closing down right now. And so let's make sure we shore up healthcare right now and stop this crisis that is about to hit so many American families. And let's stop these firings of federal workers and contractors. They do great work for the American people. And so let's actually figure out a way to move forward and protect them and give them some sort of predictability. And let's respect the power of the purse for the U.S. Congress. I mean, some of these actions are taking money that Congress appropriated and using it in a way that is unlawful, frankly. And so, yes, we have lawsuits, and many of them have been successful, but we need assurances that when we're going to fund the government, that the funds we're sending over there are used in the manner that we actually appropriate, because that's our job, and that's the checks and balances that our founding fathers put in place.
Suhas Subramanyam represents Loudoun, Fairfax County in Northern Virginia. He's a Democrat. It's just outside of Washington, D.C. And, sir, we appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Eric Wass.